Hello, everybody.
Woo.
How goes it?
Hello.
So, welcome back to Curse of the Crimson, whatever. Anyone want to give a recap?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
all right. Go get him, Sib.
Oh, shit, okay.
Because I need inspiration, so we'll see how good this is.
Perfect.
So we started, let's see. We are fleeing from the city, trying to save or hide away Isolanda from the evil spider god that is trying to possess her body. And we are running to the Shawanti to both, escape the city, have a second, and also figure out what is going on and what they know about the evil spider god that's trying to kill me. We started last session at our week 2 of 3 weeks traveling to the beginning of the Cinderlands. And Aras decided she can't change her father, but that doesn't mean she can't talk to him. And maybe by saying all of these things, she might bring out some emotion in him. And it appears it was successful, because he told her she needed to stop taking risks and that he cared about her. Then we continued with Rhea and Shala deciding whether or not they should tell Claire that Shala is a murderer and killed their grandpa.
Jesus.
Claire was obviously pissed off, and she went out starting to punch a wall, and Robin decided to try and console her by offering his own body as a more satisfying target. After some sparring, they quickly turned to other methods of exerting one's aggression. And in the next morning, Claire had a much better understanding and more compassion for Shala. At the beginning of week 3, we encountered some the handiwork of the Cinderlander, who Aras thought was like the Shawanti equivalent of the boogeyman. Turns out he's her brother, so that'll be fun to unpack much later. Weary decided whether or not to bring the orphans back to Corvosa, and had decided to leave them with Kearney, but Paula convinced her to maybe let the kids decide, because even though they're not old enough to be on their own, they still have minds of their own. Rhea and Shala spent the week discussing their wedding plans, and how Shala wanted Robin to walk her down the aisle, as he was apparently the patriarch of the family now. And Rhea decided it was finally time to convince Varric to make his move on Amelia. And so, while discussing walking her down the aisle with Robin, Amelia and Varric had a very interesting discussion where Varric confessed his feelings for Amelia, saying that he feels safe around her, and concluded that somehow he must have been rude to Robin, and they sealed their love with an exchange of rings. Oh, sorry, one ring. The Ring of Hunger. After that, there was...
Oh my god, what a hell of a ring.
There was a bit more talking between Amelia and Varric, and Rhea and Robin. I'm sorry, I got distracted at that point. So, Aras continued that week by working on amulets of non-detection and avoiding all talk of wedding, even to the point of making herself invisible. And Robin continued to follow Aras during her haunts, but Aras didn't know that, and had a lovely conversation with Nymenera, as she talked about Iso being his descendant or of his bloodline, and how she wanted to spend time and get to know Iso. Fortunately for us, Robin decided that was not a good idea. And I'm not sure if I missed anything else. Oh, Marinar, I can't say her name. Yes. Robin's ex-lover.
Namara.
That one.
I understand. I mean, I sympathize greatly. By the way, do I
And-
sound really loud to anyone?
Not particularly, but we
Okay.
can control
Just making
your
sure.
volume on our side.
Gotcha. Please continue, Sid.
Oh, and that was where I thought we left the session as we made our trek into the Cinderlands to the Shawanti. Sorry, did I miss anything?
No, you
think
did
that was
really well.
everything.
No, you hit a lot. I can't think of anything particular you missed. Well done. Take your inspiration.
Yay!
You bastard. All right. So, as we start this session, we are going to basically end the third week and get to where you all start approaching the Kalo Mountains. But before I do so, I did want to open up one last general. Is there anything that the players would want to do? Sib, I'm going to cover briefly your gifts that you ordered from Baboom. But before we move on, I just like a last call for any players that would want to have done something during the traveling. Yes? No? Annika.
If Robin wants to do his first, that's fine.
Okay, Robin.
Sure. Well, traveling, since Robin can't really be around people when Nim's pooping her head into existence, he is going to approach Isolanda and, if possible, kidnap her from Muri, gently, with permission.
Muri, do you mind if Robin takes Isolanda for a bit?
No. How do you approach this? Do you come at it like, hey, can I talk to her alone? Or do you just come by and grab?
He'll come by and he'll stand there awkwardly for a minute and then be like, can I spend like an hour with Isolanda? Would that be alright? Looks to Isolanda a little bit too, as if asking her permission.
Where will look up. By all means, come join us.
Oh, just me and her, if that's okay.
Mary will look down at Isolanda.
Isolanda would look between the two and nod and quietly bow to Robin.
He will bow in response, and then without hesitation, pick her up, and we'll just carry her for a little bit. And as he's walking, he'll say, I came to the realization that I have no idea what sort of things that you like. And then I realized that you may not even know what sort of things you like. Do you like anything particularly? Maybe animals or flowers or playing with a doll? You like music, right?
She nods.
Anything else that you like?
There is a moment, hesitation as she speaks. I mean, as she thinks. And she goes, sweets?
He nods. Do you like other things or just sweets so far?
Oh, she nods. Shala?
Alright.
And she kind of scrunches her eyebrows as if she's trying to think.
Here's what I'm going to say. So you see Erdegar here, and we'll boop Erdegar in the nose, which will flutter onto her, nuzzle against her.
She nods and scratches under its neck feathers.
Erdegar is me. I want you to always think of this bird as me. Whenever you talk to him, you're talking to me. And whenever he speaks, I will be speaking. And whenever you see something that you like or you find interesting, or if you just want to say something and me to listen, I am always going to be there. Is that all right with you?
She looks at you. If I speak, you can hear me?
Yes, and to a limit, I can communicate back. I can see what you're doing. I can smell, taste, touch. I can be there with you. I can hear you. My body will be just a distance away.
She nods. I understand.
Wonderful.
When do I give him back?
You are going to keep Erdegar for now on. And if I ever want him back or need him back, I will come get him.
Oh, no, I can't. And she starts to give Erdegar back.
Robin gets a sad face. You don't want me with you?
No. And her eyes look terrified. No, I do.
Well, then here. And he gives Erdegar to her. You're not keeping him. I'm just keeping you company.
She nods, not keeping him. Keeping him company.
Hmm?
She nods. And then...
You're friends. It's not a slave or a servant. It's he and I are your companions, and this is my way of remaining with you as your companion at all times.
She nods. I understand. Thank you, Robin.
Of course. He will pat her head, kind of spin her around a little bit, and keep walking.
She will...
Go ahead.
When you spin her around, she'll tug on your cape, like downwards.
Okay. Pause and set her down.
No, as in, like, she wants you to lower.
Oh, okay. Does so.
She will kind of motion for Erdegar to climb up on her shoulder.
He does.
And then she will begin feeling your face with her hands.
Okay.
And she closes her eyes and she says, You. I like you.
He will let her take her time and will smile and say, I like you too, Isamona.
She nods. And then she turns around and happily skips back. And with Erdegar on her shoulder, you see her kind of skipping off, which is not the first time, but it's rare. She's usually very quiet and calm. And she skips right up to Shala and Rhea. And, Shala! Rhea, look. I guess they ignore her, which is fine.
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't activated.
No, it's cool.
You
It's
are
fine.
Ah! It's fine, she doesn't like me anyway. No, gosh. Ria would look down at her and say, "Oh, what do you have?" And notice Erdegar, I'm guessing.
Erdiger.
Yeah. You can call him Edgar if you want.
She just smiles and nods down at her. Did you get him from Robin?
She nods. Not keeping. Taking care of. Ria,
That- Oh, yes?
how do I take care of Edgar?
So that brings in the question of Ria obviously doesn't have a familiar, but she has an animal companion that she summons. Would she at this point be aware that that's sort of how Erdegar works?
Yeah, and she's been around Rob enough to know that it is a familiar, and you would have learned the basics, yes. You would know that they don't work the same way exactly, but they're similar in
Mhm.
some regards.
Oh. Well, it shouldn't be too hard. Let's see if we can figure it out together.
She nods. And she just waits patiently.
Anything from Shala?
She's just watching and smiling.
Of course. Alright, well, she would start, God, I don't know, looking over, Erdegar and would take out probably something from a ration and hand it to, probably take like a piece of bread and split part of it and give her piece to Erdegar and the other piece to Iso and let her try to feed him.
She will look hesitantly and go, Edgar, are you hungry?
Edgar is always hungry.
Mm-hmm.
He opens his giant maw.
And she will stick it in.
He's very, very gentle as he like preens around her fingers and takes it. And every time that she feeds him, he will bother to do like a little bob, almost like a bow. And be like, thank you. Like it's trying to be polite.
And she'll nod to it, and then she'll go, Robin, can you hear me?
Erdegar bobs his head.
Edgar ate bread, is that okay?
The bird nods its head. It is going to cross to its other shoulder and it's going to look at Ria and it's going to bow and say, thank you, Ria. And it still has to have a raven voice, but it's quite obvious that the language is a little more prim than that of normal squawky, fat Erdegar.
Iso will look at it and then look to Ria and bow. Thank you, Ria.
She will freeze for just a moment and look over at Shala. She knows that the bowing is sort of supposed to be weaned off. But she would politely bow her head to Iso and Erdegar and say, "You're welcome."
Oh. And she looks like she's gonna say something, and then she pauses and puts her hands at her waist and looks down.
Erdegar pokes at her neck, tries to tickle her, make her stop having that reform.
She kind of giggles and stop that. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. And Shala will say, Iso, did you want to say something? Oh, no, it's okay. Just, no.
Erdegar tickles her more and goes, say it!
Okay. Rhea?
Yes?
Can you help me? And she pulls out a sling.
Oh, flashbacks to trying to use the bow. Oh no. And she would just continue smiling politely down at her and nod. Of course. When do you want to start?
Oh, whenever you're free. I don't want to impose.
It's not an imposition, Iso. We're family now.
She looks up. We are? And she looks over to Shala, and Shala's nodding and, like, grinning ear to ear. Anytime Rhea says anything about family or marriage. Oh. Is now? I mean, just for a little?
Of course. And, if they're not a decent distance away from the rest of the party, she would lead her off a little bit, so,
She said now. No.
any stray stones don't hit someone.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her roll with advantage with your aid. As you are proficient in a sling, so even if you don't really use it that much, you learned in the castle.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, actually, it would be just... Oh, it wouldn't be with advantage. It'd be normal, because technically, she's not proficient. So it would have been with disadvantage, but that's fine. She rolled an 8. So Iso with a bonus. It wasn't just an 8. She doesn't hit herself in the head with it, but she also is so foreign to it, the concept of being able to launch a stone from a sling, that she doesn't get it. She releases it way too early and it just kind of drops behind her. And she tries again and she spins it and spins it and spins it, and then it slips out. And then tries again, and after a third time of it not really, like, it kind of plopped 2 feet in front of her. And she just kind of looks at it emotionless, and then puts the sling away and... Thank you.
You're welcome. And don't worry. You're still new to it. You're practicing. It'll take time. But you'll get it.
She nods and kind of like kicks a pebble. Okay.
I nibble her neck.
Every time Erdegar does it, she kind of like has a childlike reaction where her head bobs towards it and she giggles, and then like one of those like any young child that gets tickled, right?
Mhm.
It's instinctual. There's nothing. You can't stop that. She does recover very quickly though, and she'll nod, and she'll say, "Well, I have chores to do. Thank you, Ria."
Of course, Iso. Let me know whenever you want to practice again.
She nods and begins walking like towards. I mean, I assume, Murray, that you would have her so that she would feel productive. You'd have her like assign certain chores throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she would go off to do one of those. And anything else? Ria?
Okay.
Or Robin in particular? Okay. I will note, Murray, you will see Erdogar on Iso's shoulder from that day forward. We'll say this is probably like the second to last day of the journey.
Okay. I mean, is it fair to say that she's pretty used to Erdogar's presence?
Sure.
Considering she
Yeah.
feeds him on a regular basis.
I mean, she's more used to him than Majenko is, but yes.
Yeah. I figured. Okay, yeah,
All right.
Maria doesn't question it.
Perfect. Amelia, you had a plus oh so long ago.
So this plus is not actually for Amelia.
Mhm.
This plus is for Annika.
Real quick before you dig into that, Murray and Ross, you both have pluses. Are those things that are quick little comments, or are they scenes that you'd like to have? Murray, I know yours was a while ago.
Mary has to have a conversation with them, but it can be very short.
Gotcha. Well, that's fine. We can still wait on that one. Ross, what about you? Ross?
Chris.
You're muted.
Sibling?
Sorry, I thought I had unmuted. I just needed to give the amulets to Iso and to Mori.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So we'll say you would have given that the second you finished it to Iso, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she would wear it. She would look at it, and when you do give it to her, she would nod and formally bow to you and say, "Thank you."
And I'll explain it only lasts for 8 hours. So don't use it at night. Only use it when we're outside the house. And maybe change. Sometimes you'll use it in the morning. Sometimes you'll use it at lunch.
She nods. Murray, you get one as well. So it is a amulet of non-detection. You activate it once a day for 8 hours. It will make you completely impervious to scrying or divination or any other kind of location spell.
Okay.
Thank
you, Ross.
One thing to note, Aras, as you made it, and you would have given it to Iso fairly early in the week. Whenever she activates it, she would actually come to you about 2 days later, probably when she's following Shala and Ria or Murray in tow, and would say, Aras?
Yes?
I'm really sorry. I might have broken your amulet. You said that it would work for 8 hours, but I can tell it works for 12.
Oh. Well, that means it works even better for you.
Oh.
Maybe because you're so small.
So I didn't break it?
No, you made it even better.
Oh,
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'll just like rub her on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know.
Ross, I won't make you roll. You made this thing. Nope. It should only last 8 hours.
Okay. Oh. You're telling me it should, so okay, got it.
Yeah, you made it. You know. I'm not making you roll for it. You made the thing. So, you like Ross would be sitting there thinking internally, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of halfway am assuming it's not actually working for 12 hours and she can't tell, but maybe it is, and we'll discuss that later. I have no clue what to make with that.
Gotcha. All right. We'll do Annika and then we'll get to you.
No worries. Take your time.
Annika, Bobanica, Fee-Fi for Fanica, Manica.
That's the name. Don't wear it out. Oh, okay. So at this point, it would actually pretty much be. Yeah, no, it would essentially be after the whole conversation with Varric. Gotta start saying his first name. He's been fantastic for too long. But yeah, it would have been after the conversation and the exchange of the ring and blah 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 and so she heads off to go talk to Rhea about things, and Annika would actually wander off away from her and go to try and find Robin.
What time is it?
This would be fairly soon after the whole thing with Van Castican and the study, Eric and the study.
Okay. So he's probably wandering the halls before he goes to the kitchen, moving outside Isolanda's door a little bit, looking for secrets that might entertain him from people's brains.
That's fair. So yeah, eventually she would find him, and at this point it's a little odd to see her away from Amelia, especially like if she's not just like staying in one spot or keeping an eye out. As far as you've known her, she doesn't really tend to wander all that much. And as she spots you, she immediately shifts her direction and floats toward you with a purpose.
Are we rolling initiative?
I mean, yeah, Robin takes a breath and will roll initiative.
I mean, because I got the music going. Are we rolling initiative or what? Oh my god.
He's just like, all right, let's fucking do this.
Did she see me? She didn't see me. Can I make it down the other hall? Fuck. No, she saw me. Play it cool. Pretend like you don't see her. Maybe she'll just keep... No, she's turning.
Fight or flight just kicks in like a fucking horse.
Robin is cornered.
So eventually she gets to him and she folds her arms and like cocks her head to one side. So what the hell was that about? What the hell has all of this been about?
He will stop walking and turn to her and kind of glance her ghostly form up and down to see if she has anything past the waist, which she Are you wandering a little far from Amelia?
She raises a brow at that. On all technicality, I can go as far as I want from Amelia.
Right. And I assume you have business with me. Can I get more of a sentence then? He looks like he's a little bit irritated. Not directed at you per se, but generally irritated.
I mean, considering everything that just happened, it's probably fairly obvious what he's irritated about. If black pits of eyes could roll, she would do it. And she just shakes her head. All of this has been absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, Robin, he's a fucking puppy. Like, honestly, I get it. The whole he's not worthy and shit. Of course he's not worthy, but then again, I'm her sister. I'm allowed to think every schmuck off the street isn't worthy of her. Why are you acting like this?
Annika, really, he's a useless puppy. Do we have to do this now? He won't go anywhere. He'll wait, see if she says yes.
She watches him and she unfolds her arms. One hand kind of goes to her hip. And it's less an aggressive pose and more one that seems almost tired. She runs a hand through her hair and it just ends in wisps as she sighs. More out of habit than anything. Yes, it does need to be now because in a day or a week, a month, however long this takes, you're going to find every possible excuse not to have this conversation. If I've gotten anything off of you, it's the fact that avoidance is one of your favorite things to do. At least when it comes to yourself.
Oh man. He smiles at her. Well, now you have my attention. What? You want to know why I don't like Van Castrigan? First of all, I don't really care much for other males. Second of all, I'm not sure I'm necessarily comfortable telling you. Walk with me. Try and take her further away from Amelia.
At this point, Amelia is like, you don't see her anywhere. But
wonderful.
Yeah, she would kind of, again, roll her eyes and follow.
Right. So, since sharing, and we'll lick his lips, take a deep breath, and look a little more bothered than normal. A few hundred years ago, I was sent through the Kodar Mountains in a caravan. My bad luck, I broke a wheel, had some stormy ridges, and a girl took pity on me, and I spent the next 5 years riding with her. Sorcerers. You see, every sorceress they're born with, and he waves his hand in the air. Specialties, magics, things that they prefer. Hers was light, starlight. So, one night, 5 years later, she's out lighting some torches, and we settled down in a forest, you see. Magic coming, fairy lights, all of it. and she shattered into 1,000 pieces, and I couldn't keep them together. You know, she's still up there mingling with the stars, and she's not going to come back. This was not my first time seeing it, but my first time experiencing it. One sorcerer exploding into flames, unable to keep themselves under control, another dispersing, giving wildlife sentience, and some turning themselves into stone for eternity. Natural magic does it. It consumes you. It takes you. Sometimes others, which would be your case. My problem is, and he licks his lips, Amelia is not going to be a pleasant end, much like yours, but hers will be self-caused. Varric's not going to be able to handle her body rotting away in his hands. What's he going to do? He's mundane. Not now, maybe not in a few years, but not long. She's powerful, she won't make it long. And I can't study with him in the room, me thinking of this situation, every time that I see him even approach her. That is my problem. You can call it personal, you can refer to it as a racial disagreement on gender, but I cannot tolerate this. And we'll go quiet.
Annika comes to a full stop and holds up her hands. So, hang on, you don't like it because he can't stop it, or you feel bad for him, or?
I guess you could say it's a mix of both. A little bit of understanding, some pity, and it's not something everyone will go through. She starts the process, and he's going to leave.
And you just thought, what, you were gonna hide this away for as long as physically possible?
It is my personal business, Annika. It's not something anyone needs to know other than I could kill the guy, and I hate.
She watches him, goes quiet, and then after a bit, she kind of leans against the wall, or at least faux leans against it as well as she can. Do you know why I'm like this, Robin? And she gestures at the whole of her in corporeal form.
I would point to the haunt, but appears only mine is present.
No. I'm like this because of Amelia's decision. I didn't ask her to bind my soul to her. Certainly didn't choose to be undead, but in the end, that was her decision. I didn't ask for her to keep me here. A lot of the things that she goes through are, oddly enough, self-inflicted. You know, when we were kids, we were a lot more alike. But the more we grew up, the more scared she was of everything. So it was up to me to pick up the slack. I got very, very good with dealing with people, which means that Amelia could hide from them. She kind of laughs, and it's this dry, harsh sound. I don't really like people all that much. I'm good with them, but I don't like manipulating people. I don't enjoy it. But that's what I had to do. It was me and Amelia, or nothing. And so that's what I did. I'm not just some shallow individual because I want the world at my beck and call. Amelia was just so scared to ask for anything that I had to do it for her. And after a moment, she watches him and kind of shakes her head again. I'm not saying that we need to compare scars. I don't need you to spill your guts to me, Robin. But you, and she glances off in the direction of the study and him, you're not the only ones trying to protect her. But just remember that it's not just the world that she needs protection from.
He opens his mouth a few times and then closes it. And then clears his throat and stands up and takes a full bow to Annika and says, I think I've got you wrong from the start then. I mean, I still think you're a little bit of a twisted spirit of vengeance, but I'm sorry for misinterpreting you.
She watches as he bows and gives a kind of a dismissive shrug. All things considered, it's not really that surprising. I don't get to leave the house much, but luckily now that everyone seems to know about the situation, and a lot of these words, you can almost feel the giant air quotes around them, as if this has been a constant, like, source of tension. There's no real reason for me to hide. I can actually go out and talk to people now, if they're willing. She shrugs again, and she actually gives you something of a smile, almost a grin. Let's work together, shall we?
He nods, but looks a little bit hesitant. I don't learn new things very well. But, all right.
Again, she laughs, that kind of hoarse chuckle. Yeah, I've noticed. But I will say, if Amelia or Varric stand any kind of a chance, regardless of how worthy he is, Amelia needs to know what she's in for. Because I sure as fuck didn't know that.
No. I'll do what I can considering the circumstance.
She starts to walk back in the float back in the direction that she had come, and then she pauses and looks at him. You know, as unworthy as he is, as someone who can quite literally look inside my sister's head, he hasn't been all that distracting. If anything, he's been weirdly useful. She's not the type to daydream about love and things like that. She makes a very dismissive, kind of disgusted wave, as if pushing away the thoughts herself. She doesn't need that.
He doesn't say anything.
She shrugs. Food for thought, I guess. Not that you or I need that.
And oh, go ahead.
He's going to smile in his best deception check of, no, I have no interest in that shit. Take a bow and walk the other direction.
Insight! 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 I can do this! No, I can't! I know! Inspiration, I'm using it!
Oh my god.
It's been so fucking long since I've used it. In this fucking campaign.
Would you like Portly's?
Yeah.
Portly's was already used, my friends.
What?
Portly's
When?
was used.
When?
Portly's was used for Varric to convince Amelia to take the ring.
No, that was
That
yours.
was a separate one.
Oh my god, you're right! Holy crap, that was the shiny one. I'm sorry, Wings.
Why'd you ruin it for me, man?
Sorry. Portly has no inspiration.
Oh.
You know what? You know who does? Annika.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my
You guys are
gosh.
burning 3 inspirations for this.
Fuck you.
Holy crap. I'm sorry, Robin.
Robin is lonely. Robin totally wants love. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. She's gonna go look for Claire or something.
Damn.
Oh boy. Not that needs to be a thing, but she's easy to find.
Yeah, he moves with purpose, and we'll just leave that there.
Gotcha. All right. And scene. Anything else, Annika?
Yes, actually. She is going to go find Fantastin.
Okay. We'll say, just to keep things different, right? Maybe Amelia has passed out for the night or stopped for the night. They aren't in the same room. We'll say at this point, Varric is in his room. And not that that would be a problem for Annika, who can just kind of float through walls.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we'll say, because this is a magical mansion, we'll say she can still float through walls, she just can't float outside the mansion.
Okay, makes sense.
She'd probably have trouble getting into Min's room, but she doesn't know that. Annika would float into Van Castiken's room to see him against the headboard of his bed, legs drawn up to his chest, clutching his hand, head down, shaking. As he rolled max torture on putting on that damn ring.
First time! It's trial by fire. It's always trial by fire for him.
And when he was in the room, he didn't show it, but now that he's in the room by himself, it's very clear to Annika this thing. Well, Annika would have an idea anyway, because she's linked to Amelia. But yeah.
Like, she couldn't feel the pain, but she could feel the fucking stress and anxiety that doubled in on her sister.
Right.
Yeah. So she's quiet for a bit, and after a bit, she would essentially say, "It's not fun, is it?"
Give me a second here. He does get to make a, hey, Van. Where are you? There you are.
Yeah.
He does get to make a perception check at disadvantage, because obviously he is slightly busy.
Only slightly.
So,
honey.
when you say that, his head shoots up, and there's just pure agony on his face for a second. He sees you, he closes his eyes, and through what must be sheer discipline, his face calms and relaxes. Annika, I'm sorry, I didn't... And he'll stand up.
Honestly, you don't have to. She waves at him. Play hero for me. You certainly didn't need to do it for Amelia. I know what it's been like for her.
He shakes his head. Hero, no, I just...
She raises a brow at him.
She goes through enough. She should not feel any worse for giving me this ring than she probably already does.
You expecting me to narc on you? Well, narc isn't really a word in this.
No.
You expect me to tattle on you?
I don't really know you, I guess.
Fair enough.
But not anymore. Was there something I could help you with or do for you? Or, I'm sorry, I don't know if we've actually ever spoken directly. If that insulted you, you have my apologies.
Oh, sweetheart, it takes so much more than that to insult me. Believe me, you've not met my ex-husband.
Oh.
She gives a flat smile.
Well, you're certainly different from Amelia. And he kind of gives a small, like, helpless smile.
She grins a little bit at that. So I'm told. What are you expecting to get exactly?
Well, with luck, I will protect Amelia until she figures out what's wrong with her, and keep her safe until her quest is done.
Oh, God.
And then I
She
assume... Mhm.
She just like rolls her eyes and sighs, that plume of smoke coming out, just like, oh, please, honest, just could you drop it for 2 seconds?
Drop what?
You took on a ring that guarantees agonizing pain every day of your life. For a girl that you barely know, and you, what, want to protect her? You're going to be a little attack dog for her forever just because she's cute.
No. I'll be her attack dog because I love her.
Oh my god.
Um,
Okay.
there is... This is not a man who lies well. There is no lie in this. It's a pure, simple statement of fact.
She looks genuinely shocked. There's a moment where her mouth actually falls open a little bit. Her black eyes go wide.
Look, I know that I don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to falling in love. I mean, I assume you were there. I couldn't see you, but... Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that I tried for a very long time to control my feelings, and I realized that I am hopeless and helpless. I seem destined to fall for someone, and it seems to be Amelia, and I have long since stopped trying to fight it.
Annika goes very quiet, and she watches him probably for an unnerving amount of time. She just stares into him, eyes boring, and after a bit, she nods more to herself than to him. Um, all right. All right. Well, if you are dead set on this, there are a lot more things that you'll need to know. Not the least of which you should probably talk to Robin about. I understand he's been... She kind of wobbles her head back and forth, like...
Dismissive of me.
Well, yeah, dismissant is a much better word. I was trying to be nice, but obviously that's not necessary.
It is my fault. I was rude to him the first day.
Oh, you know, I genuinely don't know if it would have helped if you had been the most polite person on the face of this entire realm.
Are you saying there's some other reason he dislikes me?
How much do you know about sorcerers?
Very little. Magic resides within them instead of being learned like a wizard.
She nods. Magic that apparently can get very messy. And apparently, well, honestly, I should have seen it coming, but with someone who works with death, it can be very, very bad.
What do you mean bad?
She watches him for a while, and how, for the most part, when he's seen her / during their interaction, like, how has he looked at her? Has it been like her physically? Has there been like kind of
Hesitancy?
yeah.
No. Just pure, honest, earnest eye contact. Well, with small skitterings of pain. Like eye squint here, mouth twitch there. But no, he seems to be as direct and upfront with you as anyone.
Okay.
Except maybe Claire. But she beats him in training a lot.
That's fair. She gestures down at herself. I mean, this is her handiwork after all.
I was under the impression that that was Rolf's handiwork, and Amelia did what she did to save you. But I am not familiar in the ways of magic.
Rolt's handiwork came before, and she kind of runs her fingers over the gaping gash in her neck. This is a gift from his father, but that's about the extent of what carried over to my current incarnation, you could say.
Oh, I see.
What she works with is death. Pure and simple. Whatever happens from that, it's not going to be pretty. She kind of gives him a tight smile. Things to think about.
He, that was a little retroactive, but he looks at you. Is that why she covers bruises? And as far as Annika knows, Varric's never seen her without either her face paint or Shala's makeup.
She blinks a little and nods. Noticed, did you?
Yes. She hides it well, but the way she moves, the way that one moves when they are aware of every sensation that touches their skin, when they are bruised. If you know what to look for, you can see it.
Yes. And in that it is technically because of me.
He stares at you, and then he says, "You mean to say that her binding you to her is causing this?"
It's what's killing her.
He nods. "So, you're telling me that there is a chance that she will die from this. I am already aware."
This and pretty much everything else that she does from here on out. The work that she does beyond binding is dangerous.
I don't understand everything she does. You mean even if she finds a cure for this, for you, it gives you another body?
It will prolong her life, hopefully. But yeah, this isn't just something to be cured and then fixed forever, a fairy tale ending. That's not how it works.
And he kind of like, his eyes widen as you say that, and then he kind of looks down. Then there is no hope for her? No chance for a long life?
I didn't say that, but whatever it is, it's not going to be easy. Then
Oh.
again, knowing our lives, it was never going to be easy.
Does she know?
She will.
He nods, and he starts pacing around in front of you. You're trying to tell me that my hopes of a life with her are foolish. Is that why Robin hates me? Does he know this?
She kind of snorts dismissively. I mean, if you were looking to get married and have children, then that was bound to be a failure no matter what, sorcerer no for Amelia, but she shrugs. Think carefully on what you want for my sister.
He hesitates. But I don't understand. Why would this make Robin hate me? Does he think that I am somehow the cause?
Of what? Her suffering?
He looks very confused.
I mean, if he wants to roll an insight, he can.
Yeah, let's see here. Oh, buddy. I mean, they're all the same. It's all wisdoms.
Oh,
Ugh.
that's fine. She watches him for a little bit, like pacing and struggling, and she sighs. Why do most people shy away from another person looking for a happy ending? And she, at that, will turn and start floating away.
Oof, hang on. He's not good at riddles.
I know.
Oh,
Alright,
not
alright.
bad. Alright, okay. He stands there pondering your words, possibly finding the meaning in an unusually insightful moment for this guy. Alright. He does not follow you. Obviously, you can't walk through walls.
I mean, he could go through the door
That's
like a normal
not
ass
occurred
person.
to him so far.
He's using that one brain cell for that singular riddle. He's just like, oh,
he's
fuck.
figuring
What
out
do
your
I do?
puzzles. He can't do things like door.
He like starts towards her like, wait, no, and then it goes through the wall and it's like, oh, fuck, I can't ask. Oh, no. What am I gonna do?
So if he was going to get any sleep this night, you've pretty much killed that possibility. Well done, Annika.
That's fine. She can live with that.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Nah, she's just gonna wander around the house like a fucking haunt. Like, proverbially stretch her legs. Hopefully not wander past Claire's room.
Right.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Weary, you had a scene.
Yeah. So at some point, Mary will go find a Ross and ask for the token to Baboon's shop.
Oh, actually, I need to check on him myself, so why don't we go together?
She'll nod.
And she'll start activating the thing to Baboon's shop.
Okay. The door opens.
And Russ will go in.
And as you enter, as you step through, you are struck by the sound of beating drums, but familiar drums, like rawhide drums, and a familiar beat, similar to what you used to hear when you lived with Linqua. And around you, you see a few stacks of blankets and wool and spices. And as you step through, you hear, "Ah! Finally you have come, Aras, my friend, and Miri, the light of my stars. Here for your gifts, I assume, yes?" And he is dressed in a large robe that is not made from silk, but looks to be more made from wool, and has a cloth wrapped around his head, around his horns.
You're dressed differently.
He nods and he goes, "Ah, yes, well, see, this thing, while I was looking for these gifts for you, I came across this. It's a style very far from here, and I've grown quite fond of it, at least for the time being. Oh, and the music, do you like the music? I saw this lovely little artifact that it can once a day, for 8 hours a day, play the music recorded on it, and I believe, if I was told correctly, this is traditional Shirwanti music. I thought perhaps it would set the mood."
I mean, I recognize this particular song, yes. Yes. That's...
Ah, I see. He told me that he wrote it himself. Well, no matter. Good. I'm glad that you at least recognize it.
I do.
Well,
And
in any
I-
case, let me show you your wares to make sure that you know that with Barboom your money is always well spent. Here we have the general necessities and goods, blankets of fine wool quality. I separated them from the more silk kinds, which are over here. And he runs to the other side. These are silk fabrics of all kinds and colors and makes, and I chose the brightly colored ones. I hope that's not too bad. I know it is pretty deserty out there. Oh, and then over here, and he runs around you. Barrels of all kinds of spices and hard to come by, shall we say, accoutrements. Do the Sherwanti smoke?
yes, they do.
Excellent! And he opens up a lid, and there's a chest full of what looks to be exotic tobacco.
This is great. This is amazing. Thank you. You
It's-
did.
Also, well, roll me. Oh, what would that be? Roll me a knowledge. Let's just do history.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
This has got to be a lot more than 200 gold.
I was thinking that much. How much do I owe you for all the rest of? Wow, this is a lot of stuff. I don't know where we're gonna put it.
Ross, you must be letting the desert heat get to you. You've already paid me. And he's already moved on. Miri, my sweet, it has been too long. What has it been? 4 days?
I don't know, God, how long has it been?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah, sure. We'll say 4 days. And Weary will nod her head.
Is there anything that I can help you with today? Perhaps more scrolls with the wax things for the children to draw on. Oh no, they're not there. Perhaps I can interest you in a large comb. He grabs the first thing on the shelf and holds it up, and it's just a comb. He's just like.
Weary shakes her head gently. No, thank you. I am not here to shop today.
Ah, then you are here to see me. Well, that has made my day infinitely better already.
Yes, I do believe I owe you a debt.
Mm-hmm. He looks at you curiously.
I owe you an explanation, do I not?
Ah, I see. Well, in that case, please, do come in. Brunhilde! And you see Brunhilde come out in the exact same outfit as Baboom, with the long woolen robe and the cloth wrapped around her head. Oh, hi, Ross. Hi, Murray. And she runs and gives each of you a hug. Do you like the music?
It's. Yep.
It plays for 8 hours.
Yep. Sounds great.
She nods and then goes and hugs Murray. Hi, Murray.
Hello, Brunhilde.
How's
Are you
the...
well?
I'm excellent. How's the little one?
She's doing well. We've got a long road ahead of us.
Ah, yes, I know. Anyway, Brunhilde, my sweet, I will be taking them into the back. If you could watch the shop front in case we get any customers. And Brunhilde looks at him. Baboom, they're the only ones we let in here. Brunhilde, please. That hurts my pride, honestly. Please. And Brunhilde just kind of throws up her hands and wanders around the store as Baboom takes you into the back. And he'll guide you both into the back, and there you see several cushions on the ground, and a large jeweled hookah in the middle that looks surprisingly familiar.
Yeah, I figured.
Ross is gonna politely excuse herself and go back to where Brunhilde is and try and measure the items and figure out if there's any way of getting any of this stuff on the cart, which I'm sure it won't happen, but she's also going...
Yeah, go ahead.
She's also going to ask Brunhilde if you guys have planted anything recently, as the particular song is supposed to help with growing, and it's the corn planting song, but, you know.
Brunhilde would be like, oh, no, not particularly. I mean, the floor is wood, I think. I don't know how well seeds would grow there. I could try, but it'd probably upset Mr. Baboom.
They just wanted to find out.
And to let you know, you could fit a lot of that stuff on top of the carts. You just wouldn't have people riding on top anymore, like on the actual roofs.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tie them to the side. I mean, you could do it. You could get all the stuff on the carts, but you're going to need some rope, and you guys are going to look like a flippin' peddler as you make your way in if you wanted to do it that way. The other way, too, would just be to open up a door once you get there.
That's what Aras was planning on
Right.
doing, but it seemed like Baboon thought she was going to take it now, so...
He has it piled up and ready to go, so that does seem to be the impression he had. So, as you are talking to Brunhilde, Baboon would motion for Murray to take a seat.
She will do so.
And,
Not saying a goddamn word about the hookah. Doesn't even look at it.
and Baboon would then walk around the circle of cushions all the way around to your other side and sit down right next to you.
Gotcha. Yeah, Maria just kind of folds herself up. Would you like to start at the beginning or the very beginning?
I find it best to listen and not request.
She nods slowly. Very well. And she will tell him the story from the very beginning. I don't know how much of this you want me to do in character.
I mean, you can cover the beats. You don't have to do it in character if you don't want.
Gotcha. So she will start from pretty much the very start of her story, from the moment she left the jungle to not all of the places she stayed. She will largely gloss over that period of her life, but will touch on several important events that happened in there. Tell him about her life in Corvosa and the life she and Curvin built for themselves there, and the unfortunate end of that chapter of her life and the beginning of this one. Meeting all of these people at Zeller's Call, and the many, many, many steps that it has taken them from that point to this one.
Through this, he would listen to the entire thing, once in a while taking a puff on the hookah, and never say a word, and never take his eyes off you. And once you finish, he would put his hands on his knees and close his eyes and take a deep breath. Ah, Miri. You've lived a fascinating life. I am sorry for your losses. And I know that they have made you stronger, though you would usually not wish it. I thank you for this gift, as I sense it is not one given often.
It is not a story I like telling.
Well, I am afraid that I must be rude. Terribly afraid. See, tradition would state that if your guest tells you their story, you are to return in kind.
Mary holds up a hand. I expect no such thing. You have told us more of your past than I thought you would, and you are all the braver for it. I understand it is not something you wish to speak of, something you wish to leave behind you.
You do me honor by allowing me to save face. I thank you.
And I thank you for listening.
So, Miri of Grovosa, what do you intend now? What life are you carving out for yourself?
I am the champion of Saturn.
A champion is good. I've known many champions in my day. Yes, but that is a role, a profession, a job. That is not a life. What life do you wish to carve for yourself?
She cocks her head. Are they so different?
Absolutely.
A role and a life.
It is a difficult thing for some people to separate. Myself, and he kind of gestures around him. I'm guilty of it from time to time, but absolutely. You can find a purpose in your job. You can find fulfillment in your job. Certainly, some people can even be married to their job. But you cannot find peace there. No, not in your profession. That is strife and stress and achievement, to be sure, but never peace. If you're to find peace, Miri, you must also build a life. A part of you separate and away from the champion of Serenray.
Then I would like to build a life where I am able to be kind.
Really, I have the distinct impression, in fact, I'd even be willing to bet my considerable fortune on it, that you could not stop being kind if you tried. So, lucky for you. Good news. This seems very attainable for you.
She clicks her beak and there's sort of a whistling noise as she snorts. It's like holding your breath and closing your eyes. To wield a weapon and shed blood.
Ah, I see. Can I give you some... I hesitate to say advice, perhaps conclusion that I have come to.
Of course.
Violence is... It is neither good nor bad. It is simply a thing, an act. We tend to frown upon it. Society in general tends to frown upon it because so many people wield it unwisely. Violence tends to be attached to anger, to hatred, and therefore tends to do more harm than good. But violence, just like your mace, is a thing. It is not kind, it is not mean, it is simply violence. And it can be used for either. Violence, death, destruction, all of these are dangerous tools, but tools nonetheless. Miri, when I said that you could not stop being kind if you tried, I was not referring to your words only or your charity. I doubt there's ever been a time in your life you have not raised your mace for the intent of making the world a better place. Perhaps it is hard to see, perhaps your conscience gives you trouble for these things. I wish I could empathize, unfortunately I cannot, but your desire to leave the world better than you found it, that I understand. And really, whether you see it or not, you spread kindness wherever you go.
She's quiet for a little bit. I'm glad you think so.
He stands
I'm
up.
trying to see it.
He stands up and he dusts off his knees, even though there's not a speck of dust in this room. And he goes, I was told by Brunhilde something the other day, or more I overheard it, and she is sometimes wise beyond her years. You can be kind to everyone some of the time, kind to some people all the time, but really you cannot be kind to everyone all the time. It is not possible. Of course, she was killing a cockroach as she said this, so he kind of gives like a shrug. But the wisdom, I think, sticks.
It is wisdom I will attempt to keep.
Sorry, I just had this image of like Brunhilde with a broom chasing it down, screaming this. Well, I have taken up enough of your time. Thank you, Miri. You have made my day a ray of sunshine.
She snorts. I am glad you think so. I will leave you in peace.
More than think so. I will endeavor to come up with ideas. For your life, I mean. Perhaps I can spark some creativity in what you want in the future. After all, let's be honest, Miri, to build a thing where you can be kind, is an unacceptable answer. We'll have to do better than that.
She waves a hand. It is a difficult thing to imagine. I had the life I want.
Yes, I know. I know you did. But it is gone, and it is not coming back. So, inspiration, I believe, is what is in order. I will think on it.
Very well. Let me know what you think.
I will be sure to do so. And he will walk you out into the front room again. To where he sees Brunhilde trying to tear up a floorboard. Brunhilde, my sweet, Aras said that the music helps corn grow. Do we have corn? I need to find corn. And she starts running off down the aisle, and Baboon just stares at Ross questioningly.
I'm so sorry. It's a song. It's a traditional planting song. I didn't mean. Sorry. Yeah.
He just nods, looks back at the floor. What is there anything else? Did you need help carrying this outside?
So, this is a lot of items, which I'm extremely grateful for, but we don't quite have a lot of space.
Oh, he like walks over to the door, sticks his head through it. You sticks his head back in. Oh, well, that does change things a bit. You said 2 wagons. I was expecting. Well, it is of no importance. I can keep it here for you if you like.
I could pay an extra storage fee if
He
you
waves
to.
away the hand. Don't be silly. This place is as big as I need it to be.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
He nods, and he goes, well, if I am to understand the situation correctly, if you do not leave a good impression on these people who, shall we say, not exactly the friendliest to, well, even to members of their own tribe, much less, what was it they were called? Shemix? Shemix, I believe is the word. And Ross, you would know Tshemik is a Shawanti word for foreigner, and it's usually used derogatorily.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really like outsiders. We're usually not well yeah.
Well,
I should probably tell the others about that. And she's like scratching her head, like trying to figure out how to maybe phrase this.
well, on the bright side, it's not as if earning their trust is vital to the entire outcome of Corvosa. But in case it is, perhaps these small gifts will help, no?
Absolutely. And we might have to go visit another tribe as well. And they gonna like us even less.
Ah,
So...
haha. Oh, good. And like he actually looks a little deflated at that. And he just like looks up, claps his hands, he goes, well, my mother told me that being a merchant would not be easy. That's a lie, actually. She told me very, very different things, but I'd like to think that she would have if she'd known that my future aspirations. In any case, I am here at your beck and call.
You're the best.
Yes,
You're such a great guy.
I know.
Did you want to be with us? Maybe not right when we meet them. But like...
Oh, dear me, no. I do happen to know a thing or two about Shawanti, and, he looks at the horns, like points to his horns.
Yeah, that's... Well, I had to at least offer.
And right you are, but I will decline for now. Unless, of course, and he looks to you and worry, if I am needed, I will always come. You know this.
Absolutely. And I just thought you were so great with words that, you know, we got it. It's fine. Yeah.
He's like
I'll find my voice.
He's like absently feeling the point of his horns.
It's fine. I got this, right? Yeah. Okay. It might be just another day or two, and then I'll be back. Thank you so much.
Of course, anytime.
Are you ready, Murray? I don't know.
Why not? Whenever you are, my dear.
Okay. I think we need to have a conversation. Just to make sure everybody knows we're not walking into friendly territory. Have a good day, Baboon.
I wish you all luck of the stars upon you. And he gives like a very flourishing bow. And Boonhilda, like from the top of a shelf that she's apparently climbed up, bye! Say bye to everyone for me.
Bye. I will. Let me know if you find the music helps.
There's like roll me, both of you roll me a perception check.
Oh, yeah. No. No.
Murray, Baboon's eye twitched.
Yeah, she's gonna leave that one alone. Thanks.
And you all both make your way back. All right. Aras, did you want to gather people together?
Have we crossed over the cliff?
Oh my god, like almost a week ago.
Oh, okay.
You are way into the
would
Cinderlands.
I thought you said it would take 3 weeks to get to the cliffs.
No, 3 weeks
I'm
to get to
sorry.
the Callow Mountains.
Got it.
So 2 weeks to get to the cliffs, and then that's when I made you guys roll the survival check to travel through. So you've been traveling. Remember, Robin's been collecting lizards?
Yeah. So we're gonna be there soon, and Ross was trying to put it off as much as she could, and I think it's, time now or never. So yeah, she will just gather everybody. I figure we're like getting ready to set out for the day. And I mean, she will just explain that when I said the Shanti don't like outsiders, I mean, more accurate to say they hate outsiders, and the Lunqua, they won't kill you on sight, compared to maybe the Skonqua, which we might need to see. And but anyways, that's for another time. Let's make sure we don't go. I mean, we should have weapons because this is a dangerous area, but let's not start shooting and ask questions later. If, say, we see some rustling in the bushes, or let's, practice extreme restraint. That's a good way of saying it.
Everyone looks at Robin.
Yeah, he coughs and looks away. He's like,
Yeah,
That seems a little important. Shouldn't we have known about that? Amelia kind of looks almost a little sheepish. A while ago?
well, no, I mean, they won't. They might be a little rough in their greeting, per se, but as long as you only act in true self-defense. Yeah, exactly. But just be on guard, and if they, maybe curse or spit at the ground, or, other vaguely not overtly intimidating measures, but things like that. I mean, it's posturing. You know, like, say, if you were trying to scare someone away, you would
Robin's hand
posture.
goes up.
Yes, Robin.
Are we allowed to posture in return?
Yes, you in
Very
the back.
important question.
Ross, you would know. Yes, I mean they're all about honor and strong
Yeah.
warriors.
I mean, I'm just debating this because it's Robin asking.
Right? No, I understand. I'm just
How
helping
much of
you.
a leash are you going to give him?
So Ross, I will let you know. Typically, they expect you to posture back, but
As long as say you don't do any permanent damage, you know, and you match, you know, if they give you a black eye, you give them a black eye back. But
He nods understandingly. This all makes really good sense to him.
it's important to have a strong force in showing and show that, you know, you're not gonna be easily scared away or pushed off. But
Am I to take it that in the case that posturing, and she looks at Robin, happens, it is best not to initiate?
yes, I think it's best definitely not to initiate. I maybe leave that for the more hot-blooded members of the group. She looks over at Robin and
Flack
over
raises
at
his
Claire.
hand.
Yes, Flack.
What about stabbing?
No,
If
she said in the beginning part that we're only up to allowed to spit at each other. We're not actually can hurt each other.
But even if I don't posture?
Yeah, you know...
Is that a black eye clause?
GM, how do they feel about goblins? I can't imagine it would be very positive.
Actually, believe it or not, there aren't any goblins in the Cinderland, so, I mean, have they met one? Oh, you've never seen one.
Yeah, maybe let's have you stay in the wagon for a bit until I yell your name that we need help. Does that sound like a good plan?
No.
Just at first. You know.
Triana will bend down and whisper something in his ear, and he kind of grumbles.
Let's not startle them more than necessary.
Mary looks over at Ross. Am I included in those who should stay in the carts? Because appearances might be startling.
Amelia looks over at Annika, who's been hanging out in the front of the carts with Triana.
Ross will lean over and whisper to Mary that she has less sharper teeth, so it might not be a problem.
Yes, we've relocated the sharpness from the teeth to the talons.
Yeah, but something about like a mouthful of teeth just seems way kind of scarier, and you know, the talons you're standing on, so it just maybe seems like you haven't trimmed your toenails.
Claire raises an eyebrow and she goes, I was under the impression Shawanti were brave. Who in their right mind would be afraid of a goblin? No offense, Flack. And Flack, like, shakes his head. No, it's fine. Understands.
That's, you know, they are brave, but let's give them less to work with. Does that make sense?
Annika actually pipes up, the fewer reasons they have to hate us, the better.
What she said. Yes. Exactly.
Robin raises his hand again.
Yes, Robin.
I'm a very bad liar and have a strong belief in being forthcoming. So they better not ask me if there's any weird creatures in the cart. Scratches the back of his head.
And if they do, we will let them know. I just...
Ma'am, do you have any goblins in the cart?
I'm thinking back, and I know that Flack was also, sometimes kind of started shit. And would always, sneak around and things like that, and so maybe reducing that would be good. Let's just... It'll be fine once we get to 1,000 bones and everything, but it might be a little interesting when we first are spotted by their roaming patrols.
Vin Carlo raises a hand.
Oh my god. This is the trend you've started.
Yeah, Robin leans all the way over to look at him like, oh, he's probably got a really good question.
Yes, Carlo?
Just out of curiosity, I know we're here for business, very important things to do, but are we allowed to woo them? I mean, if they come to us. I just want to make sure, and he kind of holds up his hands, I just want to avoid any cultural confusion.
Weary snorts. Are you certain that's a problem we need to worry about, dear?
He nods sagely. Yes. Yes, it is.
We, as in, try to make them fall in love with you?
Oh, ideally
honey,
not. No, that's... No.
What do you mean,
but
woo them?
he kind of looks at Robin.
He wants to know the barriers on how hard he can flirt with them before they'll get offended. And Annika looks over at him, just kind of like, did I hit the nail on the head?
He looks over at Annika. Please, I'm more worried about how hard they are allowed to flirt with me. And he holds his hands out like he's all that.
Weary rolls her eyes.
I mean,
Annika.
That's a lot nicer than I was going to put it.
if you find someone interested, then you are always welcome to return their affections. But you don't count on that happening, Varric. Sorry.
He's already raising his hands.
That's Van Carlo.
Yeah, Van Carlo, yeah.
Oh, Van Carlo, sorry.
He's already raising his hand against staring at Robin after Robin said that.
Yes.
So, if we are supposed to posture and our deeds are important, can we all just agree now that I beat Robin?
No.
That's not on the table.
No one would believe that.
What? He looks at Ross.
Robin sits straight up and stares at her, nods appreciatively, and points to her twice, looking at my car like, see? See?
His mouth works a couple of times, but he says nothing.
He leans over to Van Carlo. You look so much better in black than you do.
Oh, them's fighting words.
Oh.
And Weary puts up her hands all right, hold on. If the opportunity presents itself for gladiatorial combat, we will say that those two have dibs.
Sure.
And she turns to the two of them. Is that amenable?
I don't want to fight him again.
Yeah, no, I already beat him once. I don't think there's a need for that.
And
I won't
honestly,
embarrass you a second time.
I wouldn't want to
wouldn't-
bruise his pretty face again.
but it wouldn't so much be you fighting you. It would be maybe against them.
Can I use a sword?
If they use swords, yes.
You've never known a Shawanti to use a sword.
I know.
He nods and he goes, "No, I think that's fine. I don't know if killing them will help us. Unless, will it help?" He raises his hand.
I don't think it would help us. No.
Right.
The goal is to make them like us, not send us alone without any water to walk back.
So we're back to the flirting again. Alright.
I think we've somehow gotten off topic.
Maybe a little.
Just
Amelia looks so confused and Annika's just bored out of her mind.
Ria's also, confused and a little concerned.
I'm just trying to say we're not going on a fun trip to the desert beach. They really do not like outsiders. They especially don't like Corvosans. Yeah, kind of sucks that that's my last name now, but that's okay. This is gonna be fine. It'll be a little chaotic at times, but we've done worse together. Faced worse together. I mean, we got this. It's okay. We can do this. Let's just remain calm and
Robin
let
raises
cooler
a hand.
heads prevail.
Oh my god.
Yes,
Oh, no.
Robin.
Are you saying that because you're more worried than all of us?
Am I worried about? No. No, I. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, let's see. I've got to do deception, don't I?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Rhea and Worry would know that, I am only a little bit concerned about people maybe getting injured in the initial meet, but once we speak to Thousand Bones, that it will be fine. We just have to keep from killing anybody until we can speak to Thousand Bones.
As you say that, give me a second here. You suddenly hear, "I think that you should be explaining yourselves first before you think about talking to Thousand Bones."
Oh boy.
Well, fuck.
And I'm just gonna throw a little tiny thing in here that you all couldn't see before. There's that thing. That's a thing.
Huh?
That's a stealth check right there.
Is that?
In Discord,
don't know.
that's a stealth check.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's one above my passive.
Well, that's not including their bonuses.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have a 16 and Portly has a 15. So together.
You all look up.
We're unstoppable.
You all look up, and you see on the rocks around you no less than 10 Shawanti warriors. This is a nice little picture that's somewhat similar to what you're dealing with at the moment.
Damn it. I was just trying to do that once.
Gotcha. Ross, you would be familiar with these. These are called Bone Slayers. They are women and men who patrol the Shawanti burial mounds and the areas around it. They are considered the warriors of the Shawanti.
Quick question. Where's
Mhm.
Isolanda?
With you, I would assume, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to roll a perception check to see if I recognized anybody, and I got a 4, so...
Nope.
Yeah. As... Sorry. As I was saying, we are a group of humble travelers from Corvosa, and we need to speak with Thousand Bones concerning... Oh crap, what was his name? Quick, anybody, what was his name?
Carpopolis?
Corpopolis! Yes, Corpopolis! He sent us to speak with Thousand Bones. It was very important, and it concerned the Fang of Lilith.
Roll
The
me
Fang of Lilith.
a persuasion check, please.
Oh, nat 20!
You look around, and as you finish, you hear from one of the higher outcrops, Arlen?
I was once known as Arlen Osler. I look quite a bit different, and life has changed considerably. And I'm like holding my hands up this time, this whole time, as I turn to see who that person was.
Give me a second. It's not showing up. Boo. Boo! Give me a second. Let me try and do this. Oh, there we go. Walking up at the top of the mound, also wearing similar bone paint. You see Satomi.
Oh.
Can we
Hi.
roll to see if we remember her? We only saw her
Why-
a little bit ago.
You won't have to roll to see if you remember her. She
Okay.
was a fairly large part of that banquet.
Mm-hmm.
I danced with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mary looks up and her eyes crinkle. Satomi, it is good to see you.
What are you doing out here?
We need to speak with your father. It's extremely important. Otherwise, we wouldn't have come.
Satomi turns around to the others, and in Shawanti Aras, she would say, "Put down your bows. Do you not recognize a friend of the tribe when you see one?" And they kind of look to her and back to you, and they all lower their bows. And she turns to you. I didn't expect you to ever come out here again.
I didn't think I would either.
Well, a conversation for later, then. We should not stay here.
After you, we will follow you.
And they will start to lead you in the carts towards the Callow Mountains. And as you approach the Callow Mountains, as you get closer and closer, as you are still a few miles out at least, probably a good half a day's journey when Aras you would have given this talk, you start to see piles of stones with skulls on top of them, much like what you see in the picture there. These are used as markers to let others know that they are approaching and even encroaching upon the ancestral burial grounds, depending on who you are. And it is normally used to deter strangers. You make your way towards the Callow Mountains, and there are always 3 bone slayers within view, though only 3. You make your way into the Callow Mountains themselves, and you find that they are actually a collection of hundreds of cairns, the burial sites for all 3 of the Cinderland Shoanti tribes for the past 300 years. And the Linquar are basically the cairns' caretakers. And Aras, and the others I'm sure you would have mentioned, that typically part of the Linquar camp here all year round. They're the only Shoanti tribe, or part of the tribe, that is not nomadic in nature. There are, at any one time, around 75 Linquar that dwell in the camp, and there's a constant flux, some coming and going. And there's always, Aras, you would know as well, at least 12 Bone Slayers present at any one time. As you all approach, you see several what look to be tents made out of hides, very thick, dark hides. They dot the landscape of the Callow Mountains. And as you approach, Satomi starts to ride up next to the cart. And she says in a loud voice, "We welcome Aras and her friends," and she hesitates a little bit as she says Aras, "to the Callow Mountains." And as she says that, there is a thud in front of you as a give me a second here. A dragony lands in front of you all. Those of you who would like can roll me a knowledge nature check.
Oh, damn.
Wow. Okay. Amelia, I'm afraid you don't know what this creature is. Looks impressive, though. Everyone else, you've heard of Dragony before. They are a creature that looks like the cross between a dragon and a lion. They generally have the savage instincts of the lion and the cunning of a brass dragon, and tend to be a fusion of the two. This one, as impressive as it is, it's clear that it is older, and its wings look damaged. And while it can flex them impressively, it is difficult to tell if it would be able to fly with them or not. And it hits the ground and rises up and growls at you, and Satomi says something in Shoanti, which Aras you would know to be, "No, Wicked Claw, these are friends." And the dragony would then sit back on its heels and then walk away, allowing you all to enter.
If we have a while on the journey, and if Satomi's close enough, Aras is gonna ask, I didn't think you wanted to take a turn with the Bone Slayers.
I didn't, but I am trying to... She kind of looks around quietly and looks to you. I wish to become a full-fledged member of the tribe. and I thought this would help. Though I am still not yet, and Father has not told me yet what is asked to be asked of me.
And you chose it's you have no problems using the necessary force?
She gives you a long look. I have great problems, but we don't always get to live the way we like. You know that. You taught me that.
I'm sorry.
She shakes her head. No, it is the past.
I meant about having to be willing and ready to use lethal force.
To be a Shawanti is to be strong in spirit and body. How could I call myself a Shawanti if I am unwilling to protect our people?
But
And
I also know you. And
she nods.
that's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm. She nods. Roll me an insight check.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good idea. Oh.
Ooh. Yeah, it's Tomi. It's hard for her to hide things from you. This does seem to bother her greatly. You've known that Satomi has always considered or wanted to be a full-fledged Shawanti. She's considered definitely a stronger tribe member than you, but you know as well as she does that the Black Walk is something that all outsiders must take.
Mm-hmm.
And she is attempting hers? Hard to say. You didn't know much what the Black Walk entailed per se, not the details anyway. But at least at this current moment in time, though it causes her great distress, this is the step of the path that she is on.
Mm-hmm.
You all make your way into the Callow Mountains and are surrounded by yurts. Many of the Linqua look up at the arriving wagons, and they start to mill around curiously. Upon seeing all the outsiders, all of you, some of them begin whispering, and many of you can't understand the words, but you do grasp at least one word said over and over and over as they whisper to themselves, Teshemik. Teshemik, Teshemik.
Mm-hmm.
It only goes on for a brief moment as the crowd parts, and a very familiar face for some of you walks forward as Thousand Bones walks to the edge of the crowd and holds his arms open for Aras.
Aras will go up to him and looking very intently at his second arm that was previously missing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have two again. I guess you must be feeling well.
He nods. A shaman of the tribe must be whole and strong. Welcome back, daughter.
Thank you, Father. We have much to talk about, and very little of it is pleasant.
I see. You have traveled a great way. Please, the guest yurt will be at your disposal. Please, all of you. Your wagons are safe. Come, refreshment and rest.
And Rust will follow and make sure everybody else is as well.
There's little red goblin eyes peeking out from a window.
You too, Flack. It's okay.
Flack, squeals and jumps out, full armor, scimitar not brandished, but certainly at the ready in his sheath, and starts looking around. Ha! 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 No one seems concerned at all. Huh. And just starts following you all.
Amelia's looks over at Triana, just ready to fucking pounce if need be, and she's just slowly oh, okay, it's fine.
You all make your way. Oh, go ahead.
Ross is gonna tell Kitty to stay with the wagon.
Gotcha. You're all ushered inside the yurt. It's fairly large, and inside there are blankets on the ground and bowls of what looks like some sort of water. And 1,000 Bones will motion for everyone to sit. There's plenty of room. And he, after everyone has been seated, will sit down himself, Satomi at his side. Now, daughter, what brings you all the way out here to see me?
Well, first, on the way, we found 3 lost souls, and who had fell victim to the Cinderlander.
Ah, an evil name. But it is good that you have brought the souls home. We will see to their burial. Thank you.
And she will hand over the bag. And after I left and went back to Corvosa, I met Mori and Amelia, and we proceeded to together try to take down Gadrian, and well, as you know, that did not go well. But we were not deterred, and we recruited others, particularly Rhea or Mephias?
Oh, Morphia.
Morphia.
Incredible.
Ross totally butchers the name because it's not like we've said each other's last names much at all.
Mm-hmm. She'll just very happily wave at the two of them.
Shala Corvosa and Robin. I'm not even going to try to say your full name. Perhaps you would care to introduce yourself?
He was smiling at Ross until she said, "Care to introduce yourself?" And habitually bears fangs and then stops immediately and goes, "No, you're doing fine," and covers his mouth with a hand.
Well, Arbitraces.
Perfect.
And this is also Amelia's sister Trinia, and
She nods.
her friend Flack, and Vencarlo.
They both nod to
Yes.
each other.
He's an excellent arms trainer, and Verk, and Ria's sister Claire as well. They have both been so kind to help us on our journey. Sorry, I got sidetracked. After you left the town, we were the city was struck by a plague that turns out that's why Gadrian was so interested in my brother's notes, because it was instrumental and invaluable in helping save many souls in Corvosa. And he used the plague as a ruse to gain control of the city, and he, at some point, Gadrian killed the queen and took her place. It was recently came to our attention through the aid of Cropopolis that Gadrian somehow found the Fang of Lolth and is trying to bring her back, and would like to use this young one as a vessel. Isolanda, Corvosa.
Iso shies away and kind of tries to bury her face into Muri's side.
It's okay, Iso. No,
Yeah, Mary will pick her up.
no one here is gonna hurt you.
She nods.
Nibble on her neck.
Gotcha. Does not react to it this time. It's clear that she is very nervous. Also, I forgot to myself. I need someone to roll me a d4, please. Just anyone. Someone choose, and then do. Oh, good. Okay, thank you. That means evening time. Morning, afternoon, evening, night.
Okay. That's...
After you finish, Thousand Bones nods and he goes, "This is grave news indeed. I too have been concerned with Corvosa of late, and what you say must be said to the elder, the leader of the Linqua. Tonight, I wish you, who will, to come to the Bone Council and speak with me. There is much to discuss. But for now, rest, drink. Tonight, we will discuss more. I have much to prepare." And he will stand up.
Do you need any help?
No.
I'm not tired from my journey.
And Satomi will stand up next to him. No. Stay with your friends, daughter. You and I will talk later.
All right. Oh, one more thing, Father. So, along the journey, we are being followed by the Valentine family, and I only feel this is important to mention that as part of that, we are a few of us are haunted with specters that will probably be appearing.
He will point to the clouds that float behind some of you. I have noticed.
Those. Okay, just wanted to make sure you know if you see more. It's not actually. And one of them would look quite a bit like Arlen's biological father.
He nods. I see. Well, you do bring interesting parties. But, as I said, rest for now, eat if you will. And he will look at Robin. I know that you do not require food, but it is yours, should you wish it.
Robert glances to Ross like, what the fuck? And then nods.
Yeah, Ross is confused by that too.
He looks at Aras. His chest has not risen nor fell once during our entire conversation.
It's extremely accurate and extremely observant. That's why I could never get anything past you as
Undead
when I was younger.
are not unknown to us. No, I'm sorry. He would say the ancestors that walk among us are not unknown. And he will nod to Robin. May you find the peace you seek. And then we'll turn and leave the yurt.
I like your dad.
That was a lot better than I expected. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Annika, I didn't see you back there.
No, it's fine.
It wasn't intentional.
She won't hold a grudge. It's okay.
Spirit of Vengeance doesn't do that. What? I mean, what?
So, you all have a few hours to rest. I will say, and you're welcome to discuss before anything happens, you can't take everyone to the Bone Council. Let's just make it more of the core party. Maybe someone else if you want to, but you're not taking the whole band to go to the Bone Council.
That's fine.
But you have a few hours to rest if you guys would like to do anything during that time.
Nope, Ross is just gonna sit there and fidget with, like, a stick.
Gotcha. All right, Robin?
If anyone else has anything to do, they can go first. No, it's cool. Robin likes all the things. He likes new places, and he's never been here. And he wants to wander around and look at all the stuff.
Okay.
Possibly he wants to see how the people live, what they cook, if they have any cool lizards. And he'll walk by Isolanda on his way out and whisper to her in Drow, "Don't forget, I'm right beside you."
She nods. And you walk out the yurt and start walking around, and then you hear in your mind, right beside me.
It's so wonderful.
You see a simple way of life, but not a simple people. They live in yurts. They seem to be hunters and gatherers. They don't farm crops or anything of that nature. Not that crops would really live or survive well in this kind of environment. They give me a second here. They seem to grind wild grains and berries and prepare a lot of meat. Their diet seems to be more meat than vegetable. They have tanning racks and generally you get the impression almost as if a Native American type of culture. They seem very easy going when it comes to their movements. They are all very in shape. I mean, they're not all six packs rocking guns, but you're fairly certain that each one of them could beat most Corvosans in a street race, even the older ones. These people are used to a hard and harsh life living in the Cinderlands, and it shows. Their skin is dark and leathery, and even the young people show signs of toughened life. They look at you, and many nod to you. You hear some words, all in Shawanti, but you hear that Tishemek again, and again, and again. And you get the feeling that it's kind of derogatory. But no one hinders you. And most people simply nod to you or just don't even notice you. There's, like I said, around 75 or so people in the Callow Mountains. But what you do notice most of all are the very intricate burial mounds. These are made from what must be dried clay, and they are like rounded domes built into the ground. And on them is a language that you do not recognize. But they adorn all of them, and there must be hundreds.
And they're intermingled in where these people are living?
Yes.
So he's going to take some time to look at those he likes, burial places, and walk around them, and spends probably far too much time looking at each one and how they're constructed and wondering where the body is and how easy it is to resurrect it. And he'll eventually seek somebody to bother, which is a thing he likes to do when he goes to a city, is find somebody that looks like they wouldn't mind him, and since they're okay with undead, he'll go ahead and give up all pretense of pretending to breathe occasionally when he remembers, or, he'll just relax for a little bit. But he is definitely going to look for somebody to bother and help with some sort of task or to follow around.
Okay.
He's bothersome. Hopefully someone it wouldn't annoy too much.
So you're walking down the road and you see an elderly woman, very old, hair gray and hanging down her side. She's stooped over and she is carrying a large basket of grain down the road.
Exactly what he's looking for. And, oh man, he doesn't know what language they all speak, or if they actually all speak common, or... he will approach her, and he will bow, and he will hold out his hand for the basket and his arm for hers.
Oh, a visitor. Oh, and so polite, too. And she will hand you the grain. And handsome for an elf.
He smiled. Thank you. Spent a lot of time on this one. I hope this isn't impolite, but would you mind telling me a story about these burial mounds? I'm very, very curious, and I want to know what's written on them. I don't mean to be nosy, but...
What is your name?
Robothracy Sveinklabar? Robin, like the bird.
Robin. Like the bird. I have not seen this bird you speak of, but I will take your word for it. My name is Ash Dancer. I am but an old woman. But if you wish a story, I am sure that I can accommodate you. And she seems like she is speaking common, but it's not her. She's not used to it.
Okay.
And she takes your arm and she goes, "Oh, you are very cold. Are you an ancestor that walks among us?"
He smiles down at her and say, I am. In exchange for your story, I could probably share a few of my own. I've got about 1,000 years.
Then you have been searching for your peace for a very long time. And she pats your arm with her other hand.
Oh my gosh, this day. He just looks down and has like this very sad expression and kind of nods and says, I very much like it here. Go ahead, your story. And we'll just follow Granny around and help her with whatever the hell she wants help with, as long as she talks to him and spends time with him.
She does so, and I'll explain this, but as she does, she takes you around doing small chores, carrying grain from one place to another, carrying linen from one place to another. She seems to be an older woman who just does menial tasks around the tribe. People look up and they nod to her, showing, respect to their elders, but she seems fairly simple, and she'll even explain that I am just an old woman living out her years until I become an ancestor as well. Though I don't think I'll walk like you. I have accomplished most of what I wish to in this life. But you wanted a story, yes, Robin? A story of the mountains. Well, and she will come up to it. I suppose you don't read Shoanti.
Shakes his head no.
This one, and she just picks one almost at random and rubs her hands against it. This one walks with laughter. A female warrior. About 200 years ago, she defended her tribe from a vicious attack of a purple worm. She did not survive, but the worm did not survive either. A brave warrior, she was known for laughing as she fought, as if a wild, crazy passion would overcome her. And then she would walk to the next one, and then, like a little ways down and stop. This one sits on clouds. A great artist would make beautiful blankets. From what I understand, they were sought from all the tribes. A gentle soul who lived a very short life. And she does this over and over, reading the inscriptions on the different burial mounds, and they are beautiful descriptions. It is very clear that these people venerate their dead and give them an extreme amount of respect. And what of you, Robin Thrice? Why is it that you continue to walk? What is it you are looking for?
He touches one of the stones and kind of sighs and says, well, I thought I had something a while back that I was looking for, but that obviously wasn't it. I don't think I'm really sure anymore. I was going for immortality, but that seems a little lacking, doesn't it?
If I had to live another 20 years, I don't know what I'd do with myself.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes it definitely feels that way.
Shawanti believe that the dead that walk among us are simply ancestors who have not finished their tasks yet. Oh, there are the mindless undead, the zombies and skeletons that are to be feared and destroyed, but one such as yourself, one with sentience, with a soul. We believe that you are to be honored and to be helped however we can for you to find peace so that you may pass from this world and find your purpose in the next.
He will nod and walk a circle around the stone. And then smile at her and say, well, if you have any ideas, I'm open to something that would make me want to stop this. It would be nice to have something like that.
She nods. I cannot begin to guess. It is an answer that only you can give. You are the one that walks, after all. But you are a nice boy, and so handsome. If you find that purpose, and I'm still alive, I would love to help you achieve it.
He grins at her and will continue doing tasks. And he's gonna pretty much take in everything this woman says and not quite put it on her to help him figure that out, but he's gonna keep joking and poking at that need to find kind of something.
Mm-hmm.
He likes this place, this idea. This is very unique.
Halfway through, you would hear in your mind, Robin, are you all right?
He will pause the old woman and he will go hop into Erdogar's body as far as he can and crawl onto her other shoulder and bob its head and say, experiencing. Come play.
And Murray next to you and Rhea as well, you would see Iso, who's been quiet this whole time. She suddenly says that to Erdogar, and Erdogar says back, and she goes, Oh, good, Edgar. Oh, I was just... They're not being mean to you?
Erdogar nibbles into her neck and then beams up and says, feels like home!
Oh, good. Have fun.
And with that, he will eventually excuse himself from the elderly lady and say, a child is calling my attention.
Ah, yes. The young ones often need care. Well, thank you, Robin Thrice, for spending time with a lonely old woman.
He knows. I'll try and visit you as much as I can before we have to leave. And he will kiss her cheek.
And Ash Dancer kind of laughs. Be careful. It wouldn't be the first heart I've broken. And then she kind of walks away, cackling to herself.
I'm gonna go to Iceland and spend my time there.
All right. So this took several hours, and it's now the sun has set. Everyone else, while that is happening, what was anyone else doing besides resting and what? Yeah, what else?
Ross, being super fidgety, decides to go and stand outside the tent. She's looking for a friend of hers who at one point used to have problems walking.
You walk around, and many of the people recognize you here. Some of them will nod and smile to you. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. No one would recognize you here. What am I talking about? Yeah.
I'm like, that's super weird and creepy.
Your reactions are mixed. Shawanti are very unwelcoming of outsiders. Linqua are more accepting than some, and Thousand Bones has spoken for you, so no one acts hostile to you. But they don't exactly treat you as a friend either. You are able to find some people who do, and you being here as long as you have, you would know which people would be more amenable, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is an old retired bone slayer. He's in his 60s. His name was Wind Lancer, and you'd find him looking over what looks to be like the training of young Shawanti, maybe 16, 17 years old. They are running while carrying large stones, and he is watching them do so.
And I'm wondering, does he have 2 legs?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay, well then he's not the person I was looking for.
But I mean, he's someone that you could talk to. You don't see this person that you are looking for.
Okay. That's fine. I will go up to Wind Lancer and I will hi. How goes the training?
He looks down at you. You are very small.
Yes, I am. A bit shorter than I used to be. I'm curious. I know that it's not common for all of the Linqua to gather at the Callow Mounds.
There is trouble the Linqua have gathered to consider.
Oh. Like something that threatens the tribe specifically? Have there been more clashes with other clans?
It is not my place to say to an outsider. Ask Thousand Bones if you wish to know.
I will. I was just... Well... Have a good day. Sorry.
And as you're walking away, he would say, "Did you want something, outsider?"
I was looking for an old friend of mine. He was missing a leg.
Yes, I know of whom you speak.
Oh, is he around?
No, not here. He went seeking.
Oh.
He went seeking a mark of a thrall keeper. Aras, you know thrall keepers were an ancient race of beings that kept Shawanti as slaves many, many centuries ago. They've all died out. But a thrall keeper's mark is a rare artifact that brings great honor if you're able to claim one.
Wow. He didn't go by himself, did he?
No. Had another.
And will he be returning here? Or will he meet up later?
He shrugs. Who can say but fate?
That's very true. Very, very true. That looks like some fine training.
He motions to a rock.
It's a
Very
good
small.
one.
Must grow.
I want to try and see if I can pick up the rock.
Roll me an athletics check.
Okay.
It's heavy, but you pick it up.
Yep.
It's like 60 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'll just put it right back down. Yeah, that rock needs to get a bit bigger.
If you want to get strong, come find me.
I will.
And he gives you a very strong slap on the back.
Yep, maybe later. Mm-hmm.
All right.
She will, wander back.
Anyone else?
Does Satomi stick around?
No, she left with 1,000 bones.
Gotcha. So we are sort of up to our own devices.
Correct.
We will bring Isolanda with her, and we'll actually go look for Satomi. Maybe ask around to find her.
Do you speak Shawanti? Out of curiosity, I'm pretty sure you don't, right?
No.
Gotcha. So Iso would travel with you. Roll me an investigation check.
Oh, because I'm so...
With advantage, as Iso would help you. Going up.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Hello? Oh. Hello? Excuse me? Oh. Excuse me? And many people seem to, again, much like with everyone else, they're not hostile towards you, but they're not friendly towards you either. Which is why Iso was concerned that they weren't being nice to Robin. You are able to find someone, a woman who is looks like she's threading something, probably 2 pieces of leather together to create a yurt. And when you, I'm not sure how Muri would go about inquiring, but you do find that she does speak common.
Gotcha. She will. About what time of day is it?
It is, the sun is setting.
Gotcha. She will bow. Good evening. May I trouble you to ask you a question?
She'll look up at you. You are here as Thousand Bones' guest. You may ask.
I am looking for the one called Satomi.
Satomi. Thousand Bones' daughter.
She nods again.
She shrugs. She is most likely out on patrol, as is her duty.
Mary nods again.
By the way, Iso's still over there. Excuse me?
Yeah, Mary will go collect her. and then return. The creature that greeted us on our way in. What are they called? Dragonettes? Is that what they're called?
Dragony. Like
Dragon.
dragon with an E.
Okay. The Dragony.
Yes. Wicked Claw.
Are there many of them?
No, they are very rare. one life managed to befriend Wicked Claw after she was maimed. Now she protects us.
She nods. I have never seen one up close.
Many
It look-
wetlanders have not seen the wonders of the Cinderlands.
Worry not. I have spent much time traveling, but not here. But I think that will change.
She stops sewing and looks up. You must be careful. We are accepting of the Shemek. Other tribes are not.
She nods again slowly. This I understand. What other wonders should I keep my eyes open for?
She grins. The Cinder God. If you truly wish to see a marvel, you should seek out. And she has like this half-sided grin. Cindermaw. But make sure that you accomplish all in life that you set out to do first.
I see. This Cindermaw would be the end of that life.
Cindermaw is the end of many lives.
What is it exactly?
A god.
And from what I hear, not a kind one.
She shrugs. Gods are not kind nor mean. They are gods. I do not notice if an ant falls beneath my boot.
Mary shrugs. Not unless you choose to. No.
She stares at you for some time. It would be a strange life indeed, walking around bent over, watching for ants. You would miss the enemies above.
Mary's eyes crinkle up at the corners. Yes. But you would save an awful lot of ants, wouldn't you?
Roll me a persuasion check, Murray.
Oh, shit, okay. I have a +0.
She nods. Outsiders. Interesting. And she goes back to sewing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it becomes pretty clear. Satomi is outside, patrolling.
Gotcha.
Anybody else?
Unless Claire or Shala were wanting to head out and do anything, Rhea would probably be just relaxing somewhere, hopefully playing her pan flute well.
Roll me a performance check.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh.
Go, hang on a second. Just one moment here.
Oh.
I have inspiration, if you want it.
Do you?
Oh no!
I only have one, I'm sorry.
Oh no! So
Fine,
here's
they fail together.
here's what happens. You and Chalice start playing together a soft tune, and the Shuanti do not seem to enjoy it. It's not that you're playing too badly. It's just that this does not seem to be their style of song. There's some people that give like that little like, you know, someone who really doesn't like country music just started hearing someone start playing bluegrass guitar, you know?
Oh my god.
There's
So,
nothing personal about this at all, is it, Squee?
No, definitely not. If I'm not at Spring Creek Barbecue, I don't want to hear it.
oh my god.
Oh, that's such amazing.
So, for just a short time, she'd probably go through a medley of different types just to see if the reaction changed, and if nothing, she would stop.
Yeah, we'll say not so much.
Yeah.
But by the end of the medley, Shala looks down and she goes, "Well, Ross did say they have songs. Maybe I should spend time learning their style." And then she kind of smiles. Maybe we should.
And she'll smile back. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
And, what does Amelia do?
Amelia's just kind of shuffling around, looking worriedly between Annika, who is still out and about, and her mother and her sister and Flack, and just kind of like quietly worrying. And Annika has essentially just been like floating around just outside the doorway, watching people, essentially.
Got you. Everyone who passes by her nods to her in respect. She gets the impression, of course, that obviously undead are not viewed as they are in Corvosa.
What? That's crazy.
So, oh, go ahead.
Is it like, are there like lingering looks, or it's just like
No, it's more like
simple
just
nod and then move on?
Exactly.
Okay.
She's not wrecking anyone. She doesn't seem mindless in any way. It's just nod and move on.
Okay.
So, how is everyone doing? I would love to, if possible, get through the Bone Council so that you guys have a week to process what you learned there, instead of doing it at the start of a session where you have 0 time to process what you learned there, but I don't know how people are.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm alright for probably a little longer, yeah.
Yeah, alright. We'll try and shoot for another 30 minutes or so, but I will speed things along a little bit. After the sun sets, all of you notice that your haunts return. Robin, Namara appears sitting on your shoulder. Of course, you can't feel her, of course, but she's gotten quite good at it. And you start keeping your distance from Iso?
Oh yes. I'm going to go probably check out Ross and make sure that Amelia's all right and kind of loom between those two.
Gotcha.
Unless if Varric is around, and then I'll avoid Amelia like.
Yeah, Varric would be around.
As soon as Rolf started appearing, Amelia would leave and like to the opposite end of whatever she's in from Varric.
Got you. Well, he would not follow. So, Robin, you'd have opportunity. And right around this time, Thousand Bones would come back into the yurt. It is time. The Bone Council commences. We must go. Oh. And Namara on Robin's shoulder. Bone Council, that sounds interesting.
Amelia like stammers out and like looks over at a Ross like
Ross, your dad is
Mary.
just standing there.
Yeah, Mary will stand up and dust herself off. And look to the others. Who would like to attend?
You couldn't keep me out of there. Thousand Bones, is it okay if he tags along?
Thousand Bones, who's been staring at him. The ancestors are free to do as they will. We have no will or desire to stop them until they find what peace they are looking for so that they can move on.
Mary, who's standing next to Aras, fixes Aras's specter with a sharp look. I would humbly ask that he behave himself.
He rolls his eyes.
He will definitely behave.
He doesn't do anything else, rolls his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you all make your way to the Bone Council, and do you bring ISO?
Amelia does not want Rolf to be at the Bone Council. Just, for general reasons.
One of the, No, never mind. Please continue.
No.
No, it's something I was thinking of that wouldn't make any sense to say, so please continue.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Amelia would just kind of try and brush it off. I have a lot of things that I need to focus on at the moment. You can fill me in later.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Am I keeping you from your friends? Robin, we're going. I'm interested. This sounds fun.
Robin pauses from throwing any sticks he could at Rolf, going, woof, woof, what?
Rolf seems to ignore you.
He waves his head back and forth and then looks kind of partially at Shala and then partially at Isolanda and asks, are you staying or going?
I think Isolanda should go.
Mary will kneel and hold both of Isolanda's hands. We will be going into a room with lots of other people. Would you like to come with?
She looks around. I don't know. Should I?
I think as part of this may at one point well, affect you.
Oh. Okay. If you think so. And Robin, as she's talking, Namara jumps off your shoulder and flies 3 feet towards her. There she is. Robin.
Taking
Robin.
a few steps back.
Namara slowly turns and looks at Robin. Robin, I am growing tired of this. I am interested in the Bone Council, so I'll let this slide, but next time we're going to go see the child, or you will not like it. And she comes in very close to you and whispers in your ear, the others seem to mock their haunts. They shouldn't. They were chosen for a reason, Robin.
Close his eyes. Take a breath and whisper under his breath, this once. And then we'll also join Yuri in crouching next to Isolanda and say, Ross is right. This could have to do with you in the future. You're a very special girl, and it would be unfair if we didn't offer you the chance to understand things.
Oh, Namara is right in front of her, reaching out to her.
Stop it!
And
Yeah.
Iso shrinks away.
Miri will not so graciously put herself between Namara and Isolanda.
She goes right through you.
Yeah,
and
I
at
mean-
that point, Rio would pick her up and back away.
Yeah.
Robin holds his arms up as if he did it, and will stand up and nod to Isolanda and look to Erdegar, who will bob his head and will just back the fuck out of there.
Namara turns back to Robin, eyes shining. Oh, Robin. Oh, Robin. And then she sits back on your shoulder, and she seems dreamy.
Oh, he's very worried about this. He's gonna get a long distance and go sit with some dead people where he belongs. He will go lean against someone's grave and watch the fucking Bone Council through that bird.
Iso, who seemed a little nervous, reaches out to Rhea and kind of clasps her neck, and Shala will come up next to you and say, perhaps I should stay here with her. It's important. I think Robin should be there. I can watch Iso.
If you think that's best, and she would hand over Iso.
Iso would start clinging to Shala's neck, and she goes, the others were here. We'll be safe. Go do what must be done.
Miri nods slowly, and will extend her arm and put it on Shala's shoulder, and Majinka will flap over and wrap himself around Shala's neck.
So, Majenko on Shala's neck, Edgar on Iso's shoulder.
And they're looking at each other.
And, of course, Claire, Vincarlo, Flack, Triana, they're all going to be there as well. Amelia, unless you tell him not to, Varric is going to come with you.
I mean, Amelia doesn't want to go. She's concerned about
That's right.
the role.
So Varric's going
Yeah.
to stay with you. Never mind then.
Okay, sure.
I mean, wherever you're going, he's not like next to you, but he is there.
Yeah.
The rest of you proceed to go follow 1,000 Bones?
Yes, actually, Annika will go with the others.
As Annika goes, Roll starts to follow her.
I'm sorry, what?
I
Oh,
explained
God
at the very
damn
start
it.
he can follow
Oh,
either.
Fuck. Shit. That's
An extension
right.
of yourself.
Shit. So she stops and just stares at him deadpan, rolls her eyes, and goes back to fucking Amelia. Goddamn.
He grins.
We'll make sure to take good notes for you, Amelia and Annika.
Annika just huffs and Amelia nods. Thank you.
So the rest of you make your way with Thousand Bones to the center of camp. The majority of the other Linquois have retired to their tents and yurts out of respect for the Bone Council fire. The only people present are Thousand Bones and two other people. First, an elderly old woman who looks very familiar, Robin, sits at the fire. Ash Dancer looks up and smiles at you. And another, a man who looks advanced in his years, but has an incredibly well athletic physique, shall we say, for someone who looks to be in his 60s at the very least. Give me a second, I'm trying to resize this. I can't resize this. Okay, then. He's just gonna be big. He has the traditional Shawanti tattoos on him, and he's completely bald. He's sitting cross-legged, and Thousand Bones says, "May I introduce you all to Ash Dancer, our honored elder of the tribe, and One Life, our clan chief." Ash Dancer. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just ma'am, sir. Nice to meet you.
They seem to be studying all of you in turn.
Robin will bow, particularly Ash Dancer, though not show too much of an outward sign of anything. Just be like, hey, it's that nice lady.
She will look at you and smile. Ah, the child that was calling you.
He nods. He'll kind of like lift up Iso's hair, like, isn't she pretty? And like smile at her.
Iso's not there.
Oh.
She was talking to the one on your shoulder.
Oh, no. No. That thing. No. He's gonna pretend that doesn't exist. That's not existing.
Thousand Bones walks to the center and says, "Please, be seated, all of you." And as you all sit, he will turn to face you. "You have all already done my people a great favor by saving my life. And now I know that you have come to ask me something in return. Yet, I know that by asking for this, you are helping us all. The Linquois are a peaceful people, yet we are also all but shunned by our kin. Our willingness to mix with Teshemic shames many of my brothers and sisters in the other Quas. Only their respect for our tradition of guarding and protecting the dead of all Shawanti keeps them from open hostility against us. My words do not reach their ears when I warn them of Queen Iosa and her rise to power. They hear tales of the city in flames, of its king dead, of disease ravaging its people, and they see this as just punishment for a hated enemy. My people do not see the greater threat that is growing in this turmoil. And now, you come to me with concerns, seeking the aid of my people. Speak of what you wish of the Shawanti, and perhaps we may find our needs are the same."
We need to know. I'm not well familiar with the stories of old, but we know that you faced Lilith once before. We need to know how she was defeated, how she could possibly come back, and how to help save the little girl she wants to use as her vessel.
He considers your words.
My people dwelt where your people live now.
He says to the others. Not to you, Aras.
Not so long ago. We remained there for many generations, but across the centuries, my people have always kept the lore of our ancestors in mind, passing knowledge to the new generations. Yet, when Chiliax came to us with war and drove us to the Cinderlands so many years ago, we fought and died. And many of those who died took this lore to their graves. The name Loth is unfamiliar to me, but your plight not entirely so. Mother is a name that I am familiar with, and I was...
He kind of hesitates.
It is a name associated with a great and ancient evil, and many Shawanti believe to repeat such a name out loud is to preserve the evil.
I'm sorry. I got that wrong. I am sorry, I got that reversed. They repeat mother all the time because people have mothers. Loth is the name that is not unfamiliar to him. My apologies. Let me, reset.
Loth is not a name that is unfamiliar to me completely. It is associated with a great evil, and many Shawanti believe to say its name out loud is to preserve the evil. This, coupled with the deaths of so many lore keepers, has sequestered the knowledge I suspect that you seek in the mind of a rare few. The Sun Shamans of the Sklar Kwa. They alone preserve the history of the Shawanti time in the lands you now call Quavosa. But they do not readily share this with Tishimik, or fellow Shawanti for that matter. Yet, if you were to build your names among my people, to earn proper respect, even the eldest of the Sun Shamans would agree to provide the knowledge you desire.
And he hesitates.
You must earn our people's respect. But I understand that urgency is required. The time is not of the essence. So, you must accomplish great deeds very quickly.
And he looks to the other two sitting there. And Ash Dancer goes,
Well, they could become an enemy's Nalharest.
And Thousand Bones nods.
It is one thing to defeat an enemy in battle, but another to earn that enemy's respect. If you were to find a Shawanti of strength and power and renown, and get them to call you their Nalharest, that would show great respect among our people.
And One Life says,
They could find the Thrall Keeper's mark.
And then he will look for the first time to the rest of you.
In ancient times, a caste of spellcasters the Shawanti remember as thrall keepers kept us as slaves. They are gone now, but some of their buildings remain. One such building may be found in the Cinderlands, a dangerous apocalypse. Many Shawanti voyage to it, seeking to earn the Thrallkeeper's mark as a way to prove their bravery. Many never return. But those who do earn the mark will be held as honored warriors of our people.
Thousand Bones nods.
You could also survive the trial of the totem, I suppose. There are trials that the Skull-Qua allow people to take. They are very dangerous, and I do not know the details of them. But to survive them is to earn their respect. You could also earn a truth speaker's endorsement,
Ashdancer says.
Truth speakers are born, not made, and sometimes generations pass without the Shawanti counting a truth speaker among them. But I know of one such. One who has lived many lives without lie, and who achieves the gift of speaking only truth after decades spent in chastity, self-control, and introspection. I know of one that may yet live. But they are of the Skull-Qua, one of the hardest Quas to find. But if you can find them and go before the truth speaker and have them take your side, then the Skull-Qua will know that you speak truth when you come to them.
Thousand Bones hesitates and slowly stands before Ross.
There is one final task you could do.
Yes.
You could become a true member of the Lin-Qua. You could take the Black Walk. But normally the Black Walk takes time. Time, my daughter, that you do not have. And so there is only one way. I thought not to tell you, but that would be a dishonor.
And he hands you a piece of paper. Ross, or someone else, or I, if you want, could read it.
I mean, I'll read it if he's handing it to me.
He does.
Skarak was a great warrior and a great traitor to the Skull-Qua. He slew his brother, a man of even greater courage. To the Skull-Qua, family is purity. Crimes against family are the greatest one can commit. Although Skarak claimed the death was an accident that occurred while he and his brother were hunting, others spoke of murder spawned of jealous rage. Skarak was declared a Tashimik by the Sun Shaman and cast out. But before Skarak left, he said he would be born again and return to his tribe. Thus he did. He went to the killing grounds of the great Cindermaw, the Clan Eater. Skarak walked up to the beast carrying only his dagger. Without fear, he drove it into the beast's mouth and cut his way out. he dove into the beast's mouth and cut his way out. He returned to the clan and declared he had been reborn, and that his misdeeds behind, and had left his misdeeds behind in the cleansing fire of the Cinder Maw's belly. The legends say the Sun Shaman accepted this, and Skurok's time as a Tashimik was spoken of no more.
As you read this out loud and finish, Thousand Bones says, Cinder Maw is a god to the Shawanti, a giant purple worm that breathes fire and leaves ash and cinder. My daughter, if you are to become a true member of the Shawanti, you must follow in Squawk's footsteps.
By diving into the belly of the beast and cutting my way out?
By cleansing your Tashimik in the fires of Cinder Maw. And he looks incredibly concerned. And after some time, Ash Dancer says, That is all that I can think of. Though there are other ways, of course, to earn the respect of our people. Perhaps if you were to defeat strong adversaries or monsters. But however you choose to do it, whatever road you choose to take, I pray for your success. For your success affects us all. I am going to end the session here, and I'm going to give you all a summary of your options.
Would the Sunderlander be considered a sufficient enemy of the tribes?
They look at each other. Many Shawanti have tried to kill the Cinderlander. He is a formidable opponent indeed. If you were to defeat him, you would bring great honor to yourself. So, with that, we'll end the session. I know we're running a bit late, but I wanted to give you guys a week to kind of mull things over because you can do any or all of these in any order you seek. I will give me a few minutes and I will get you all a summary of it. I got to block out some certain things and I will get you all a summary of it and you guys can mull this over. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sweet. Well then, everyone, thanks for watching and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.